Something fundamental is collapsing, and your body is registering it before your mind can name it. The guardians of the grid are watching the voltage spike, issuing a silent override for those who are meant to stay conscious. What you call spiritual upgrades can also be software strain, timelines buffering, circuits overheating, sleep refusing to land. If you've been tired for no reason, ears ringing, time sliding, heart tight, appetite off, thoughts looping, right now, don't dismiss it. There are 7 signs, and we'll move through them chapter by chapter with an activation after each one. Chapter 1. The era of confusion is over. You are not cursed. You are not broken. You are running a living system under sustained background load, and the mind keeps calling it ascension because it sounds cleaner than admitting strain. There is stress, there is burnout, and they are not the same. Stress is the feeling of being troubled or threatened by life. It can rise from something big that feels dangerous, or from something small that keeps pressing on you anyway, day after day, until the body starts speaking louder than your thoughts. Burnout is not a mystical badge. And it is not a medical disease label. It is described as an occupational phenomenon, placed under the category of factors influencing health status or contact with health services. That placement matters. It means you do not turn it into a personal identity, and you do not throw it across every corner of your life. It refers specifically to phenomena in the occupational context. It is not applied to other areas of life. It's not that you woke up and now your body is failing. It's that you are stressed. It's not that every kind of tired is burnout. Burnout has a work-specific frame, and within that frame, it is described as a syndrome resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. Listen to the precision of the code. Chronic. Workplace. Not successfully managed. This is not poetry. This is a definition that cuts through the fog. It unfolds in 3 dimensions: feelings of energy, depletion, or exhaustion, increased mental distance from one's job, or feelings of negativism or cynicism related to one's job, and reduced professional efficacy. That is the triad. Not you are weak, not you are spiritually defective, not you missed a portal. So here is what happens when the grid is overstimulated and you misname the signal. You keep forcing high-frequency language onto a system that is actually overloaded. You keep chasing light while the hardware is overheating. You keep demanding output while ignoring the warning lights, and the grid does not reward you for that. It collapses you. That is the hidden reason you feel worse the harder you try to raise your vibration. You are naming the state incorrectly, so you choose the wrong response and you keep feeding the wrong circuit. When you call burnout awakening, you don't address the occupational context. When you call stress spiritual failure, you don't address the troubled, threatened feeling that is already present. You just add shame as an extra layer of pressure. This is not a diagnosis. This is not a replacement for health or social services. This is a framework for self-observation anchored to the language that exists in the world outside your inner mythology. Because when you can locate yourself on the map, you stop spiraling. You stop bargaining. You stop blaming your soul for what your system is signaling. You see 2 regions, the human experience of stress and the occupational syndrome of burnout. And once you can see the fork, you can choose the next step with safety, not superstition. Let the scan be clean. Do not romanticize the alarm. Do not demonize the alarm. A signal is a signal. If your exhaustion is tied to work, if your distance and cynicism are tied to work, if your sense of efficacy is collapsing in the occupational arena, then you are looking at that specific occupational phenomenon. If what you feel is the troubled or threatened pressure of life, big or small, then you are looking at stress. 2 doors, 2 languages, 2 responses. clarity is the first form of relief. Before you diagnose anything, we reset the system. Stop. Right now. Freeze the feed. Lower the voltage. Let the grid hear you choose stability over surge. Exhale through the mouth like you're powering down a system that's been running hot for too long. Again, exhale. Let the shoulders drop. Let the jaw unlock. Now look around the room, not for meaning, for evidence. Name 3 solid things you can see. One edge, one corner, one line that does not move. Feel the surface under you, the chair, the floor, the weight of your body returning to the present timeline. Say this, out loud or inside. I am stable. I am safe. I am learning to cope. Say it again, slower. I am stable. I am safe. I am learning to cope. Good. You just interrupted the spiral. Let your eyes soften. Let your breath widen. Let the noise dim. No one gets left behind. But you have to stay with me through the chapters, because each chapter is a checkpoint and each activation is a recalibration. We don't rush, we regulate. We proceed. When you're ready, inhale softly, then release. Chapter 2. These are the 3 indicators used to identify burnout in the occupational context. Sign 1. The battery drains, even after rest. This is described as feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion. It is not just, I'm tired. It is waking up already spent, carrying tasks that suddenly feel too heavy, feeling your charge drop the moment the work signal hits your system. And the key is this: it is tied to the workplace current. If the depletion spikes when you think about your job, when you open the laptop, when you step into that role, you are seeing the first red warning light. Not because you are weak, because chronic workplace stress has been running through the system without being successfully managed. And it leads to a life where recovery never feels complete, because the circuit keeps drawing power in the background. 1/7. Sign 2. Distance replaces devotion. This is described as increased mental distance from one's job, or feelings of negativism or cynicism related to one's job. You still show up, but you are not inside it anymore. You feel like you are watching yourself do the work from somewhere behind your own eyes. Your emotions get automated. Your language gets sharper. The compassion that used to flow becomes a flat line. You start moving like a machine that no longer believes in the mission. Not because you are ungrateful, because the occupational field has become charged with chronic stress that has not been successfully managed, and the system pulls away to survive. And it leads to isolation, because you can't stay close to what is burning you. 2/7. Sign 3. Output continues, but efficacy collapses. This is described as reduced professional efficacy. You can still be doing the job, but the internal signal changes. You no longer feel effective in the professional arena. You don't feel the clean click of competence. Everything feels heavier, slower, less precise. You second-guess what used to be natural. You spend more energy just trying to begin. You replay small mistakes like evidence, not because you suddenly became incapable, because chronic workplace stress, when it is not successfully managed, erodes professional efficacy over time. And it leads to dread, because the work becomes a mirror that only reflects limitation. 3/7. Now listen, because this is where people misname the signal and spiral. Burnout is described as a syndrome resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed, and it is understood in these 3 dimensions: depletion or exhaustion, mental distance, negativism, or cynicism related to one's job, and reduced professional efficacy. That is the architecture. That is the scan. And here is the non-negotiable boundary. It refers specifically to phenomena in the occupational context. It is not applied to other areas of life. So do not smear this label across your entire identity like ink. Keep the category precise. Keep the signal clean. Let it point to the environment it belongs to. If these 3 red warnings are lighting up, ask one disciplined question. Is the pattern anchored to my job? Because in this frame, the job is the circuit, and the workplace is where the chronic stress is occurring and not being successfully managed. If the circuit is the source, the response must respect the source. This is not a diagnosis. This is not a verdict. This is a way to read the dashboard without shame. When you stop calling depletion laziness, and you stop calling cynicism character failure, and you stop calling collapsing efficacy a personal flaw, you stop feeding the wrong storyline. You stop fighting yourself while the real pressure keeps running. 3 indicators, 3 warning lights, 3 doors opening. And the question is no longer, what is wrong with me? The question is, what is happening in the occupational field, and why has the chronic stress not been successfully managed? Now we separate timelines together. Activation, hold still, inhale, and release. Question 1. Is this signal anchored to your job or spreading through your entire life? Breathe out. Question 2. When you step away from work, does it soften, or does it follow you like static that never powers down? Breathe out. Question 3. Are you distant from your job, or distant from everything, even the things you once loved? Breathe out. Remember the boundary. Burnout refers specifically to phenomena in the occupational context. So don't smear the label across your whole identity. Keep it clean. Keep it precise. If you dodge these answers, that is also information. The system avoids what it cannot yet face. Don't answer me. Answer your body. And when you're ready, we move forward, because the next 4 signs will reveal whether stress is hooking you and pulling you away from your values. Stay with the scan. Stay with the breath. The timeline splits only when you tell the truth now. Chapter 3. It's not cosmic energy. It's stress. Stress is described as feeling troubled or threatened by life. It can come from something big and dangerous, or from something small that keeps pressing, until your inner system signals in ways you can't ignore. Everyone experiences stress at times. A little bit of stress is not a problem. The problem begins when stress becomes very high, and it starts to deform the body, the mind, and the way you move through the day. Sign 4. The body throws error messages. Very high stress often affects the body, not as a prophecy, as unpleasant sensations that rise like alarms. Headaches, neck or shoulder pain, back pain, an upset stomach, chest discomfort, muscles that feel tight, a sense that hunger disappears, as if the signal for appetite gets muted. These are examples, not a diagnosis, not a checklist. But when they appear in clusters, the body is telling you the voltage is too high. No coincidence. If you translate it as spiritual upgrading, you miss the practical response that could lower the load. Chapter 4 will unlock the techniques. Sign 5. Behavior shifts into survival mode. When stress rises, many people notice changes in what they do and how they feel. You cannot focus. You get angry easily. You have difficulty sleeping. Your appetite changes. You cannot sit still. You feel sad or guilty. You worry. You cry. You feel very tired. This is not moral failure. No coincidence. When the mind is overloaded, it drops tabs, it lags, it shortcuts into reactivity. If you punish yourself for the symptoms, you add pressure to the same circuit. Chapter 4 will unlock the techniques. Sign 6. You get hooked. Powerful thoughts and feelings are a natural part of stress. You are not abnormal for having them. The issue is what happens when the wave catches you. Problems can occur if we get hooked. A hook traps it. A hook pulls it. One moment you are functioning, and the next you are fused with worry, fused with anger, fused with the story that you are in danger. No coincidence. When stress is high, the hook feels like truth, and you start living inside the thought instead of noticing the thought. When the hook lands, it narrows your vision. It turns one sensation into a full reality. You start scanning for danger, rehearsing worse scenes, gripping your jaw, holding your breath, and calling that vigilance being responsible. No coincidence. The hook doesn't need a monster. It only needs a threatened system. And the longer you stay fused, the harder it becomes to act from what matters today. You are being hooked. Sign 7. The hook pulls you away from your values. Hooks can hook us and pull us away from our values. Values are described as our deepest desires about the kind of person we want to be and how we want to treat ourselves, other people, and the world. Not goals, not achievements, not performance. Values are the inner compass, and when stress hooks you, it reroutes you. You snap at people you love. You neglect your body. You abandon what matters. You become the version of yourself you never chose. No coincidence. High stress can drag you away from your deepest desires until your days stop matching the person you want to be. Chapter 4 will unlock the techniques, so don't romanticize the pressure. Don't demonize yourself for reacting. Stress is the troubled or threatened signal of life, and everyone experiences it at times. A little bit of stress is not a problem. But when it becomes very high, the body speaks, behavior shifts, hooks appear, and values get abandoned. And when you can see that sequence, you can stop calling it destiny and start practicing the protocol that brings you back to the present, back to choice, back to the person you intend to be. Activation. Place one hand on your chest, lower your voice, let the hook loosen. Values are your deepest desires about the kind of person you want to be, how to be, and how you want to treat yourself, other people, and the world. Choose one value now: loving, wise, attentive, committed, persistent, responsible, calm, caring, protective, courageous. Don't overthink. Pick the one that feels like oxygen. Now name one small action in the next 24 hours that expresses it. One action, small. If you choose caring, you can care for yourself or care for others. You can take a few minutes to read, not to escape, but to practice caring. You can send one gentle message. You can drink water with attention. Say this in 3 beats. I choose caring. I choose calm. I choose one small step. Again, I choose caring. I choose calm. I choose one small step. Your values are the compass. Fear is only noise. Stay. Don't run. Witness. Chapter 4. The protocol is already here. Grounded, structured, human. This guide is built in 5 parts, and each part contains new ideas and techniques that are easy to learn. It is designed so you can use just a few minutes each day to help reduce stress. Not because you need to become someone else. Because you need a clear sequence that pulls you back to the present. There is no 6th door hidden behind it. 5 modules, 5 checkpoints. Each one a reset, each one a return. You don't need perfect conditions, only a few minutes and a willingness to follow instructions the way you would follow a safety protocol. Some days you will move fast. Some days you will repeat the same page. That is allowed. This is not a test you pass. It is a practice you apply. You are not trying to erase stress from existence. You are learning to reduce it by working with it on purpose, in sequence. Let the modules do the work, not your willpower. Module 1. Grounding. Stress is described as feeling troubled or threatened by life, and it can come from something big that feels dangerous or from something small. Grounding is the first gate because it returns you to this moment. Instead of letting the mind drag you into yesterday or tomorrow. Destiny line. The present is your anchor. Action now. Choose 3 minutes today to come back to where your feet actually are. And when you can anchor, the next module can remove the trap. Module 2. Unhooking. Powerful thoughts and feelings are a natural part of stress, but problems can occur if we get hooked. Unhooking is the second gate. Noticing when the thought is pulling you so you can create distance and choose what you do next. Destiny line. A hook is not a command. Action now. Choose 3 minutes today to practice noticing the pull without obeying it. Because Module 3 restores the compass that stress tries to steal. Module 3. Acting on values. Values are described as our deepest desires about the kind of person we want to be and how we want to treat ourselves, other people, and the world. Acting on values means taking small steps that match that compass, even when stress is still present. Destiny line. You are not your reaction, you are your direction. Action now. Choose one small step today that expresses a value you refuse to abandon. And this is where most people quit, right before the system starts changing. So stay, because an activation follows. Module 4. Being kind. Being kind is a gate of practice, not decoration. If you can take a few minutes to focus on caring for yourself and caring for others, you are already practicing a value that the guide connects with simple acts like reading. Destiny line. Kindness stabilizes the field. Action now. Choose a few minutes today to do one caring act with full attention. Because Module 5 is where you stop fighting what you feel. Module 5. Making room. Making room is the gate where difficult feelings can exist without driving the whole machine. It is a part of the guide's sequence for stress, and it allows you to live without being controlled by what rises inside you. Destiny line. You can carry the feeling without becoming it. Action now. Choose 3 minutes today to make room so the feeling can move while you remain steady. And here is how you use the protocol without turning it into another burden. You can read one part every few days and practice the ideas and techniques in between. Or you can read all 5 parts and then read them again. The key is practicing and applying the ideas and techniques, because that is what helps reduce stress. You can do this at home. You can do it during a break. You can do it before you sleep. Anytime you have a few minutes to focus on taking care of yourself. If you can download the audio exercises, use them. If you cannot, you can still benefit by reading and following the instructions. And hear this clearly. If these exercises are not enough to help you cope with stress that feels unbearable, seek help. Reach out to health or social services or to someone you trust in your community. The protocol is a path, not a cage. Walk it with devotion, but never alone. Anchor, lower, stay. For the next 10 seconds, come back to the room you are actually in. Feel your feet. Notice your hands. Let your eyes land on one ordinary object, and let it be enough. Inhale gently. Exhale longer. Let the breath tell the nervous system we are here, not elsewhere. This is the foundation. This is the floor you build on when everything feels unstable. Now make it practical. These techniques are designed to be used in just a few minutes each day to help reduce stress. Not someday, today. Read a section when you are at home, during a break, or before you sleep. Any moment you have a few minutes to focus on taking care of yourself. Then follow the instructions slowly, like a protocol. 10 more seconds. Look around again. Name what is present. Let the mind stop time traveling. If you can't do more, do less. 1 minute still counts, and you can repeat this reset whenever the pull starts rising again. Anchor. Lower. Stay. You don't need to believe me. You only need to try. Chapter 5. This is the safety gate. Listen carefully. This video is a map for self-observation and a doorway into skills described in a stress guide. It is not a diagnosis. It is not treatment. Do not turn these signs into a label you carry like a sentence. Use them to orient. Then choose the next safe step. Do not use this to decide what you have. Use it to decide what you will do next. If you are already working with a clinician, counselor, or support service, let this map support that work, not replace it. If you are not, and you feel overwhelmed, the most sovereign move is to ask for help right now, today. If your stress feels unbearable and the exercises are not enough to help you cope, seek help. Reach out to health or social services or to someone you trust in your community. Safety first, not completion. If you are at that threshold, your priority is support, not pushing through another minute of content. Now, a boundary that protects your mind from spiritualizing harm. Burnout is described as a syndrome resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. It refers specifically to phenomena in the occupational context. Keep that frame. When you spread it across every part of your life, you blur the signal and lose the lever. And also hear this without minimizing it. Burnout is not classified as a medical condition. It is placed under factors influencing health status or contact with health services. That means two things at once. 1, you do not convert it into an illness identity. 2, it is still a real reason people may reach out for support. Do not dismiss it. Do not glamorize it. Name it precisely and treat it with respect. So if the signs you noticed are tied to work, your focus becomes managing workplace stress and rebuilding occupational boundaries, not chasing mystical explanations. You are not ascending through collapse. You are being asked to change the conditions that keep the stress chronic and unmanaged. And if what you notice is stress across life, troubled, threatened, pulled, hooked, then your focus becomes practice. Minutes, daily, repeated. The 5-part protocol is there to be applied, not admired. You start where you can start, and you repeat what helps. Here's a simple script you can use, with yourself or with someone at work, without pretending to be certain. I'm noticing signs of exhaustion related to work. I need to change how I manage stress and workload. I'm going to start with the 5-part protocol, and I will seek support if I need it. Say it without drama. Say it without shame. Say it like a guardian speaking for your nervous system. If you leave this gate and do nothing, you return to the old loop, misnaming the state, choosing the wrong response and calling the crash a destiny. Do not do that. You do not need to do everything today. You need to move in the right direction. Choose one module. Choose a few minutes. Apply it once. Then again. If it helps, continue. If it is not enough, seek help. The path is practical, and it is allowed to include other hands. Final transmission. You are not broken. You are being invited back to your values. Sign 1. The battery drains when work enters the room. Sign 2. You feel distance, cynicism, a cold glass wall between you and your job. Sign 3. You keep moving, but your professional efficacy feels reduced. Sign 4. When stress climbs very high, the body starts sounding alarms. Sign 5. Focus fractures, sleep shifts, anger rises, appetite changes, worry loops, tears come, exhaustion deepens. Sign 6. A thought hooks you, a feeling hooks you, and suddenly you're dragged off course. Sign 7. The hook pulls you away from the person you want to be. Now choose your next step. Because when you name the state correctly, you stop fighting shadows and you start steering the system you actually live in. Step 1. Pick one module from the 5-part protocol and practice for just a few minutes each day, not to fix you, to ground you, to unhook you, to act on values, to be kind, to make room. Step 2. If your stress feels unbearable and the exercises are not enough to help you cope, seek help. Reach out to health or social services or to someone you trust. This is not failure. This is the safety route.